10 minutes is nothing. It's shady. We're good. We got good music on. A couple of housekeeping things. I said this a little bit before, but for folks that just got here, we have like a self-care tree here. There's water. There's sunblock. We are also selling worker center t-shirts, sliding scale. There's tank tops. And for speakers, because I know a few of you are still coming here, we're going to have a timekeeper that's going to be very kindly signaling the countdown of your time. So just be mindful, check it out. Sorry? Louder. Oh wow. Okay, it feels really loud from here, so I'm sorry. Is this okay? Louder? Okay, I got it. All right. Hello. Is that good? Louder.
You can come closer too. Come closer. They're friendly people. Oh, the street. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, so I actually have to scream. Great. Okay, so the final thing is that we will be doing translation throughout this whole event, from Spanish to English. Can you hear me? Is this good? Great. So that means that things are going to take a little longer, but it also means that we are achieving, to some degree, language justice. So yeah, that's all. I think we're good with housekeeping now, and I think we can also get started. I'm going to wait here for my compa Alicia to come to get us started. So, yeah, we're starting. So I'm passing her off to her.
Alicia!
Good morning! Thank you all for coming out today. Thank you for your energy and for your commitment. Thank you for your passion. Y'all are on fire!
Hola a todos, buenos días. Gracias por ser tan dedicados a la lucha. Gracias por su pasión. Están en fuego.
We are all on fire, and not because of the heat, but because the world is unjust. It's as unjust as it has ever been.
El mundo ahorita está más injusto que ha estado que nunca. Y okay, I'm gonna get better at this. Okay.
I love her. People react to the fenced-in detention centers for children and babies and say that this is not America. But people are mistaken. This is America. This is the America it has always been.
La gente dice que todo lo que está pasando ahorita en la frontera, dicen que esto no es algo que es americano, pero están incorrectos. Esto es América. Esta es nuestra historia. Esto es quienes somos.
Throughout our history, this country has created psychological trauma and promoted white supremacy.
La historia de los Estados Unidos está llena del trauma psicológico y la supremacía blanca.
By abducting and imprisoning children and separating families.
Robando a los niños de sus familias y separándolas.
Separating families for their race, for their color, and their nationality.
Separando las familias por su raza, por su color y por su nacionalidad.
We have only just begun as a country to grapple with this terror.
Apenas hemos empezado a verdaderamente confrontar esto como un país.
And yet we still see these same policies and practices in place today.
Y aún así seguimos viendo estas políticas estar puestas en práctica hoy.
At the border, through detention, separation, and deportation.
En la frontera, con la separación, la detención y la deportación.
But also in our own communities, via incarceration, discrimination, and gentrification.
Pero también aquí, en nuestras propias comunidades, con la encarcelación y la gentrificación.
So we stand here today in our vibrant and beloved city, but also a city in which so many residents
Así que nos paramos hoy aquí en nuestra ciudad querida.
Are forced to bear the burden of these oppressions. We are a diverse and intersectional organizing committee.
Nosotros que estamos aquí somos una comité muy diversa que ha organizado este programa.
And we are here today to acknowledge our history and to fight back.
Estamos aquí para enfrentar nuestra historia y luchar de regreso. Yes.
We're gonna fight back against what's happening in the present.
Vamos a luchar contra lo que está pasando ahorita en el presente.
And we're gonna organize for the future.
Y vamos a organizarnos para el futuro.
Another world is possible, and we are the agents of change.
Otro mundo es posible y nosotros somos los agentes de ese cambio. So now we're switching. I'm going to speak in English and my girl Deanna's going to speak in Spanish. Yes. The folks that will be sharing their stories today are members of our communities here in Springfield and throughout the valley.
Las personas que van a compartir sus historias este día son miembros de nuestra comunidad aquí en Springfield y en el Valle Pionero.
They will ground us in the reality that while we may be far from the border, the same state violence that has been separating families there is very much alive and here.
Nos van a demostrar que la realidad que está pasando en la frontera de la violencia estatal que está separando las familias, también está pasando aquí en este estado.
We cannot call for the end of family separation and think that the story just ends there.
No podemos solamente llamar que se termine la separación de las familias y pensar que la historia se termina ahí.
If we want nothing short of freedom,
si queremos nuestra liberación,
we must call for the abolishment of ICE. For the abolishment of mass incarceration. For the end of police brutality. For the end of homelessness. For the end of gun violence. And the end of a government that has historically criminalized poor black and brown families.
Si queremos la liberación, necesitamos abolir la migra, necesitamos abolir las cárceles, necesitamos acabar con la brutalidad de los policías, necesitamos acabar con las personas que no tienen casas, tenemos que acabar con la violencia de las armas, tenemos que poner fin a un gobierno que históricamente ha criminalizado a las familias negras y de color café.
And last, in order to do this, we must channel our collective outrage to radical love for each other. And that must start here, in Springfield and in the Pioneer Valley. And I think we all believe we can do that. Do you? All right, good. Okay, great. I'm glad. So, right now, we're going to start the program. It's going to be lit. I'm going to start out with our comrade here, Sticky Quest. Sticky is an activist and one of the lead organizers for BLM 413, as well as staffer Out Now in Springfield. Out Now is one of Massachusetts' only LGBTQI youth organizations. Or it is the only one, sorry. In Springfield, sorry. Sticky works hard for the freedom and liberation of the most marginalized black people. And she will be leading us right now in our first chant to ground us in the wisdom of our radical ancestors.
It is our duty to fight. It's our duty to win. We must love each other and protect each other.
We must love each other and protect each other.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love each other and protect each other.
We must love each other and protect each other.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love each other and protect each other.
We must love each other and protect each other.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
So we're just going to ask folks to wait to cheer. We love your energy. We love it. But please wait until after the translation. We don't want to lose anything. Good? Thank you. Our next speaker, Deanna Sierra, is an organizer at the Pioneer Valley Worker Center. Yes. She is the facilitator of the Northampton Worker Committee and popular educator with a focus on the role of women in revolutionary movements in Latin America. She is a fighter and one of our truest comrades.
Yeah, give it up for Deanna.
Hey everyone! My name is Deanna Sierra. I'm an organizer with the Pioneer Valley Worker Center. I'm a former undocumented immigrant and survivor of domestic violence.
Hola a todos, yo soy Diana Sierra, soy una organizadora para el Centro Obrero del Valle Pionero. Antes, en el pasado, yo era una inmigrante indocumentada y soy una sobrevividora de abuso doméstico.
We must ask ourselves a very important question. Why do people migrate to this country? U.S. imperialism, militarily and economically, has forced people to migrate.
Nos tenemos que preguntar una pregunta muy importante. ¿Por qué es que la gente migra a este país? El imperialismo de los Estados Unidos, militar y el económico, ha forzado que la gente tenga que migrar.
Central Americans are fleeing the consequences of U.S. imperialism. In the 1970s and 1980s, the United States financed and trained military dictatorships in Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, and Guatemala. Those U.S.-financed regimes killed and tortured their political opponents. U.S. intervention in Central America resulted in the deaths of at least 300,000 people.
Los centroamericanos han estado migrando por las consecuencias del imperialismo de los Estados Unidos. En los 70s y los 80s, los Estados Unidos apoyó las dictaduras en Nicaragua, en El Salvador, en Guatemala y en Honduras. Estos regímenes que fueron financiados por los Estados Unidos mataron y torturaron a todos sus oponentes políticos. La intervención estadounidense en Centroamérica ha resultado en la muerte de más de 300,000 personas.
Since then, people have been running. Migrants are running from gang and cartel leaders. In the 1980s, the U.S. trained military men who committed massacres. Those are the same military men who later became gang leaders engaged in drug trafficking and human trafficking.
Desde ese entonces, la gente ha estado corriendo. Los migrantes han corrido por los carteles y las maras. En los 80s, los Estados Unidos entrenó hombres militares que cometieron masacres. estos mismos hombres militares, estos grupos militares, se hicieron los líderes de las maras que tomaron nuevas aventuras de negocio con el tráfico de las drogas y de las personas.
The U.S. has also intervened in Central America through other means. Free trade agreements are giving U.S. corporations access to cheap labor and resources. Those agreements have displaced millions of Central Americans and Mexicans. And the military intervention is still not off the table. In 2009, the Obama administration supported a military coup in Honduras. That coup has resulted in brutal forms of violence, and people are fleeing from that violence.
El gobierno de los Estados Unidos también ha intervenido en Centroamérica por otras maneras. Los acuerdos de tratados de comercio libres le han dado a las corporaciones americanas acceso a labor barato y recursos que han desplazado a millones de granjeros en México y Centroamérica. Pero la intervención militar no está fuera de la mesa. En el 2009, la administración de Obama apoyó un golpe de Estado en Honduras. Este golpe de Estado ha creado una pesadilla. El nivel de violencia ha sido como una pesadilla contra la población de Honduras. Y todos los hondureños, muchos hondureños, están migrando.
We must abolish ICE, an agency that terrorizes the victims of U.S. imperialism. We must abolish Border Patrol, which murders refugees with impunity as they try to cross safely. Claudia Patricia Gomez Gonzalez, whose photo you see up front, is one of those victims. We also have to stop the policies that force people to migrate here in the first place. To stop those policies, we must confront U.S. empire, right here in the belly of the beast.
Necesitamos deshacernos de la migra, una agencia que terroriza a las víctimas del imperialismo de los Estados Unidos. Necesitamos deshacernos de los policías de la frontera que matan a refugiados mientras que están tratando de llegar a un lugar seguro. Claudia Patricia Gómez González, una mujer guatemalteca, fue una de estas muchas víctimas. Tenemos que parar las políticas que esfuerzan que la gente tenga que migrar en el primer lugar. Para parar estas políticas tenemos que confrontar el imperio de los Estados Unidos, aquí en el estómago de la bestia.
To wage this fight, we can learn from mothers in Latin America who for centuries have been denouncing the state that terrorizes their families. Indigenous mothers have kicked out colonizers out of their territories. Enslaved African mothers have burned down plantations to free their families. Peasant mothers have protested dictatorships who took their children. And when that violence got too terrible, those same mothers picked up arms to defend the children of the people. We do not need to be mothers to be in this fight, but our fight must be revolutionary. Our fight must win justice for all the victims of empire on both sides of the border. And now I'm going to translate for myself. Para estar en esta lucha, podemos aprender de las madres latinoamericanas. Madres que por siglos han estado denunciando la violencia del Estado en contra sus familias. Las madres indígenas han expulsado a los colonizadores de sus territorios. Las madres africanas esclavizadas quemaron a las plantaciones para liberar a sus familias. Madres campesinas protestaron a regímenes dictaduras que se llevaban sus hijos. Y cuando la violencia se puso muy terrible, esas mismas madres campesinas levantaron las armas para defender los hijos y las hijas del pueblo. No necesitamos ser madres para estar en esta lucha, pero nuestra lucha sí tiene que ser revolucionaria. Nuestra lucha tiene que defender y ganar justicia para todas las víctimas del imperio en los dos lados de la frontera.
Our next group of speakers represent some of our demands for liberation. They are our liberation team. They are mothers, daughters, brothers and sons, friends and comrades who are strong members and leaders of our communities here in Springfield and throughout the Valley. In one way or another, their families have been or are currently at risk of being separated due to police brutality, incarceration, deportation, transnational migration, and so forth.
Las próximas personas que van a hablar representan nuestras exigencias para la liberación. Ellos son el equipo de 10 de la liberación. Son madres, hijas, hermanos, hijos, amigos y compañeros. Son personas de nuestra comunidad, líderes de nuestra comunidad aquí en Springfield y en el Valle Pionero. En una manera u otra, sus familiares han sido afectadas o están sufriendo el riesgo de ser separados por la policía, la violencia estatal, la encarcelación, deportación, la migración transnacional. Qué pena, me disculpo.
They're here to share their stories and to remind us all about the interconnected way our communities are oppressed.
Ellos están aquí para compartir sus historias, para recordarnos la manera como todas nuestras luchas están conectadas.
And about the ways in which we can fight that oppression right here in Western Massachusetts.
Nos van a recordar de cómo podemos enfrentar esa opresión aquí en el estado de Massachusetts.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Irma, and I want to share my tragic story about my son, which is a story when it got in the news. His name was not shared. This is my son, Jose Adolfo Garcia Jr. On October 5th, 2017, he was murdered by the police of West Springfield. He was chased down West Riverdale Road in West Springfield and into Main Street, and he supposedly crashed down Main Street and took off running and made a sudden stop and took his life. That's the story that I was told by Trooper Michael Blanchett.
Say hell no!
Hell no! This is his face because his name on the article was never posted. This is my baby's face.
Jose! That's not right!
So I'm here to share his story because I have been giving the runaround on October 6th with my family trying to locate my son's body. Trooper Blanchett had told me that he was in Holyoke. Stupid me made an ass of myself assuming that he was in Holyoke Hospital. So we went to Holyoke Hospital looking for Jose, my baby. Mind you, he wasn't a baby, he's a grown man. But to me, his mother, he's my youngest son. I have 3 boys. Jose was my baby, still is my baby, alive in my heart always. Holyoke Hospital didn't know where Jose was. We went to the emergency. We went to the main entrance. Nobody knew where he was at. We went to the switchboard because they sent us there. They didn't know where he was at. My niece decides to call Bay State, and Bay State knew where he was at. He was at the medical examiner's office. Trooper Blanchett was never telling me the truth to begin with. So, someone tells me, oh, can you hold this for me, please? D.A. Galuni, he goes after crooked cops. So I say, okay. We make an appointment to go see Galuni. And we made an appointment to see him on October 24th because I didn't trust my son to get in a taxi until I spoke to an attorney because I didn't believe the police from the beginning. The story of my son running from the police and all of a sudden stopping and taking his life. So I was like, I'm not gonna go for an autopsy until I speak with an attorney because I want to make sure that I go take the correct steps because something seems fishy. So I had to cancel that appointment because on October 24th was my son's burial. That's how long I waited to bury my son until I got a legal consultant. So on November 2nd, that's when I met with D.A. Galuni. Trooper Blanchett was there. D.A. Galuni says to me right away that he cannot open an investigation because there's no evidence. I already know that there wasn't any evidence. I just wanted him to hear me out. What I did that day was give him an opportunity to get advantage to grab my son's autopsy report. My son's autopsy report wasn't available until January 18th. When I called the week before January 18th to see if my son's autopsy report was available, what was told to me was that the DA's office had the autopsy report because that they're investigating Jose's case. To this day, we are on June 30th, and the DA's office has not called me once to let me know that he's investigating my son's case. Again, yesterday I called just to see, and the lady that answered the phone said you have to wait for a certain person to be here because she's the one that handles this type of case. That's bullshit too. Well, I'm here to let them know that I am going to spread the word, let them all know what has been done to my son. Jose too is a human being that has family, that has a mother that loves him, misses him every single day. The sadness, the hurt and the pain has turned to anger. No more waiting, no more waiting and no more patience. Now I'm going in on them. This is my son, and my son deserves respect. And he's gonna get respect whether they like it or not. They are are not going to hold on to his autopsy report any longer. I'm coming for it. Not only me, but social justice and especially the Out Now have been incredible. They have been with me every step of the way. We have done vigils. I had people come up to me because they think that because there's no video, that people did not see my son be shot down by the police. My son was gunned down. Gunned down by the people that took an oath to serve and protect. To serve and protect us. They came to knock on my door at 5 minutes to 3 o'clock in the morning, October 6th. I did not open my door. I told them I'll meet you at the police station. I don't open the door to criminals. They should be ashamed. So shameful. I can't wait to get our day in court. Go spread the word to your people. Tell them Irma Del Valle is coming for justice for Jose. And I gotta cut this short because there's a lot of people that have to speak, because there's more to this. A lot more. So I'm not going to waste all this time on my son's story. It's not a waste of time, but I have to be fair to the people behind me. Okay? But I just want everybody to know that the story that they posted that day on Mass Live, because Mass Live is also posting the lies that the police give them, because there's all lies that Mass Live posts on the police behalf. And when those cops go to the court and give their police report to the judge, you best believe that it is lies. 99% of it is lies. You cannot believe everything they say. And thank you for listening to me. Let's get justice for the immigrants. Let's get justice for everyone that's here seeking it. Justice for all.